Hello everybody. Let's get started. Coordinate plane rules for each transformation. We're doing reflection. If you're reflecting over the x-axis, do y times -1. Reflecting over the y-axis, x times -1. Okay? So the change would be, your new coordinate point will be x, comma, y times -1. New coordinate point would be x times -1, comma, y. All right? If you want, give yourself an example. So if I had, I'm going to put example. If I had coordinate point A equals 3, 2, I know it's going to be 3, 2 times -1. My new point for A prime is 3, -2. Example for reflecting over the y-axis. If A is 3, 2, 3 times -1, 2, A prime in this situation would be -3, 2. Translations. X plus A, y plus B. Okay. An example. If I have A equals 3, 2, and I have a translation of 2 units left to 3 units up, I would go, this left or right would be my A, this is my B, so 3 plus 2, 2 plus 3. That's my X, A, and then my A prime in this case would be 5, 5. Okay? So that is reflections and then translations. Rotations. Rule is, if you're going 90 degrees clockwise, the rule is B, -A. 90 degrees clockwise or 273 counterclockwise. This stands for OR, not divide. It stands for OR. An example, if I had A is 3, 2, and they asked me for 90 degrees counterclockwise, I would first off label this A, B. My XY is A, B. So now I write this. B is 2. And -A, so that's like multiplying by 1, so this would be -3. That's good. So I would do that if it was 270 counterclockwise or 90 clockwise. Here, the rule is -A, -B. An example,
Mia Gilmore, if you're in the building, please come to the main office. Mia Cynthia Gilmore. Please come to the main office.
See, I'm really at a school. So this is A prime right here. Okay. So if A is 3, 2, and they asked me to do 180 degrees clockwise or 180 degrees counterclockwise, I'm going to write my A prime is just going to be, like I say, you label this A, B. Opposite of positive 3 is negative 3. Opposite of positive 2 is negative 2. Or if I multiply 3 by negative 1, I get negative 3. Multiply 2 by negative 1, I get negative 2. All right, last but not least, rule for this one is negative B. A, example, really fast. All right, example, if I had A, 3, 2, I label it A, B for my X and Y, it will end up being negative 2, A prime. Will end up being negative 2, and then whatever A already was. All right. Dilations. The rule is K times X, comma, K times Y. That's the rule. Example, if I have A equals 3, 2, and I have a scale factor of 3, and you can put over here K equals scale factor in case you forgot. Then I would go scale factor first, 3 times 3, comma, 3 times 2, close that up. So my A prime in this situation is 9, 6. All right. Next, I ask you what transformations remain congruent, which do not. The top 3 remain congruent. That means the same. So reflections, rotations, and translations. Those are all congruent. They remain congruent. Dilations, do not. Page 1 is done. All right. All right. So 3 through 5 provides a transformation notation and the final coordinates of each vertices. The vertices of parallelogram A, B, C, D are A, negative 6, 9, B, negative 3, 9, C, negative 7, 5, and D, negative 4, 5. They want to know what would the vertices be if the figure was reflected over the x-axis. Okay, I can look on the other page to remember my rule. So here I go. A prime, if I'm reflecting over the x-axis, I multiply the y by negative 1. So A prime, my x is going to stay the same, and my y is going to go opposite. B prime, x will stay the same, y will go opposite. C prime, x will stay the same, y will go opposite. D prime, x will stay the same, y will go opposite. And then I would graph this. So negative 6, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Negative 3, 9, 1, 2, 3, and then down 9. I know I'm down here. Negative 7, negative 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 4, negative 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my prime figure. And I labeled it A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Okay? They also want me to do it over the y-axis, so I'm just going to label this x-axis. Okay? I'm going to put my y-axis stuff up here. And for the y-axis, I multiply. This is y times negative 1. This one is x times negative 1. I'm just writing myself a little note.
Ashley Rainwater, your ride's in the office.
All right. So let's go. For the y-axis, my x is going to go opposite. My y is going to stay the same. So this is A prime for the y-axis, B prime. My x is going to go opposite. My y is going to stay the same. C prime. My x is going to go opposite. My y is going to stay the same. And D prime. My x is going to go opposite. My y is going to stay the same. Okay? So let's label this one. So this one, and I can put, I know this is rotated over x-axis, so here's rotated over the y-axis. So I go 6, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then 3, 9. And then 7, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 4, 5. Okay, mirror images. All right, mirror images. A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Yep. I apologize. A, B, D, C. A, B, C, D. Right? Hopefully you can see all of that. So that was A. B. What would the vertices be if parallelogram ABCD was reflected over the y-axis and then translated to the right 2 units and down 2 units? Okay? So we already know what it would be if it was reflected over the y-axis, and then they want to know what would it be if it was translated to the right 2 units, which is plus 2, and down 2 units, minus 4. So let's set that up. So for A prime, I need to go 6. For A prime, I need to go 6 plus 2, because this is for x, comma, 9 minus 4. And that'll give me my new point for A prime prime. Don't worry, we're just a prime prime because we don't want to call it A prime again because this is a different movement, all right? So A prime prime is 8, comma 5. Let's do B prime. We changed that. So we got 3 plus 2, comma, 9 minus 4. B prime prime is 5, 5. Do it again. C prime. We got 7 plus 2, comma, 5 minus 4. C prime prime is 9, comma, 1. And D prime, we have 4 plus 2, comma, 5 minus 4. D prime prime is 6, comma, 1. Okay. All I did was I took this information up here because it said reflect over the y-axis, so I did. I did that already. And so I took this information and used the translated stuff. So if you do this, you got your new point, then do the next thing they tell you. Don't get overwhelmed and try to do it back to back. Okay? Do one thing at a time. Next. Let's run through this. This should be pretty simple. Vertices of parallelogram A, B, C, D are A, 3, 6, B, 6, 6, C, 2, 2, and D, 5, 2. What would the vertices be if the figure was rotated 90 degrees clockwise? All right? So, A prime, I know my rule for 90 degrees clockwise is B, comma, negative A. All right? And I know this one, for the next one they're going to ask me, is negative B, comma, A. All right? So, let's do this. So, A prime, and I'm going to label, because I think that is so important to label. A, B, A, B. So I can do it correctly for each one. So, A prime, I need B, which is 6, and I need the opposite of this, which is negative 3. B prime, and this is my 90 degrees clockwise. B prime, I need B, and I need the opposite of A. C prime, I need B, I need the opposite of the A. D prime, I need B, I need the opposite of that A. Right? Then I graph those points. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 3, 1, 2, 3. 6, negative 6. So I'm going to go down 3 more. Then I got 2, 1, 2, negative 2, 1, 2. And then 2, negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So this was D prime, this was C prime, this was A prime, this was B prime. All right, but now we got to do the same thing for 90 degrees counterclockwise. I'm just going to follow my rule. A prime, for that, I need the opposite of B, so negative 6. Yeah. Oh, I noticed you guys didn't see anything I graphed. That's okay. I'll graph again. Negative 6, and then I need the original A, which is 3. B prime, I need the opposite of the B here, which is negative 6, and the original A, which is 6. C prime, I need the opposite of the B, which is negative 2, and the original A, which is 2. And that's why you have to take your time. I'm going kind of fast because I don't want you to spend all day watching me. I want you to practice. So pause this as you need. Take your time with this. I don't want you to make simple mistakes. And D prime, I need the opposite of my B, which is negative 2, and my original A, which is 5. All right? And then I'm going to graph this. And this time I'm going to make sure you can see it. I'm graphing this stuff. So A prime for 90 degrees counterclockwise is negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Positive 3. 1, 2, 3. A prime. Negative 6, positive 6. So negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's B prime. Negative 2, 1, 2. Positive 2, 1, 2. That's C prime. And then negative 2, positive 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D prime. Connect my dots to create my parallelogram. All right? Now, down here for B, they say, what would the vertices be if the figure was rotated 180 degrees counterclockwise around the origin and then reflected over the x-axis? So this time, I wasn't as lucky to have it up here already. So I do have to do 2 steps. All right? So 180 degrees counterclockwise is the same as 180 degrees clockwise. So I don't have to worry about that. And the rule for that is negative A, negative B. So I'm ready to go. I'm still using this information up here. I've already labeled A, B, so I'm good. So now I just need my new points. Let's start with this first, around the origin, so I can follow this rule. So I need the opposite of A. So for A prime, the opposite of A is negative 3. The opposite of B is negative 6. B prime, the opposite of A for B prime is negative 6. The opposite of B is negative 6. C prime, the opposite of A is negative 2. The opposite of the B is negative 2. D prime, the opposite of the A is negative 5. The opposite of the B is negative 2. So I got my new points. I don't have to graph this. I can just go on to the next step, okay? And then reflect it over the x-axis. So my rule for reflecting over the x-axis means I have to do y times negative 1. Okay? So let's do this. A prime prime, I'm going to keep my original x, negative 3, but then I'm going to do negative 6 times negative 1. Okay? So that'll give me my new point of A prime prime really being negative 3, comma 6. That's my A prime prime. Got it? All right. Sorry, it looks a little confusing. B prime prime, like I said, I multiply by negative 1. I'm not going to keep writing it. So I keep my x, and I multiply this by negative 1, so I just go back to the opposite. C prime prime, I keep my x, and then I multiply this by negative 1, so it goes back the other way. D prime prime, I keep my x, and I multiply my y by negative 1. Right? So this is the full process. You keep the original x, because they asked me to go over the x-axis, so I keep my original x, and my y is changing. All right, so let's graph this. This is the new information right here. Just so you know what we're focusing on. All right. So let's graph those points. Ready? Negative 3, 6. So 1, 2, 3. Negative 3 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is A prime prime. Negative 6, positive 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is also B prime prime. I didn't even need to put a dot. Negative 2, positive 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. This is C prime prime. And then negative 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. And so this is D prime prime. So my new image is like this. And I'm going to draw that in another color so you can see it. I'm knocking things down. Mrs. Robinson, you're all over the place. I know. Hopefully you can see this green. Yes. Excuse me. All right. So that's green is this orange after it's been rotated 180 degrees and then reflected. This is after reflected. After reflection. Okay? Those are the kind of things we're going to be doing. Let's keep going. Got this. Wow, we're almost done. Yay. All right, number 5. Let's go. Vertices of parallelogram A, B, C, D are A2, comma, -3, B5, comma, -3, C1, comma, -7, and D4, comma, -7. What would the vertices be if the figure was translated 6 units to the left? So left, that's negative. So -6, and 7 units up is positive. All right. So for each one, you're going to write, so for A prime, I need to find out A prime, I have to write 2 minus 6, comma, -3 plus 7. 2 minus 6 is going to give me a -4. -3 plus 7 is also going to give me a, not also going to give me, it's actually going to give me a +4. Okay? So that's my A prime. B prime. 5 minus 6, comma, 3 plus 7. 5 minus 6 is a -1. 3 plus 7 is 10. C prime. 1 minus 6, comma, -7 plus 7, which gives me -5, comma, 0. And then my last one was D. I'm going to go up here. D prime. Can we see it? Which is 4 minus 6, comma, 7, -7, I apologize, plus 7. And it's going to end up being -2, comma, 0. Okay? So that pen was fading on us a little bit. So these are my points. This is A prime, B prime, C prime. This is D prime. -2, 0, -1, 10, -5, 0. All right, I can now graph those. -4, +4, 1, 2, 3, 4, +4, 1, 2, 3, 4. -1, 10, -1, and then 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I so feel like I made a mistake, but I didn't. I got all negatives, positives, and I have, yep, I'm good. -5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a mistake in this, and -2, 0, 1, 2. This should have been here. This should have been a -3. That's why I'm like, what in the world? Okay, I found the error. So if you're looking at this on the study guide, this should be a -3. -3. So it will equal 4. Okay, so -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a parallelogram. That looks like our original image. Okay? A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. There we go. All right? So make sure you make B, it should be 5, -3. All right? So we did that. Now, of course, they're going to throw something in there. What would the vertices be if the original figure was translated 3 units to the right? That's positive. +3. 2 units down. -2. Then rotated 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. Okay, I know that that means I have to go B, -A. All right, so let's do it. So make sure I got enough room. A prime, so I'm +3 for the X and -2 for the Y. So A prime, I'm using these same points. 2 + 3, let me zoom in a little so you can see. 2 + 3, comma, -3, -2 gives me the new points of 5, comma, -5. And then I can go ahead and rotate this. So this is my 90 degrees clockwise. And it tells me I need to do, I can label this AB. So I need to do B first, -5, and the opposite of A, -5. So this is my A prime prime. That's my final movement. Okay? Get a little clearer. All right, let's do it again. B prime, using these numbers. 5 + 3, comma, -3, -2 will give me 8, comma, -5. Label those A, B. B prime prime will be -5, comma, -8. Remember, I labeled them, and I just made sure I put them in this order at the end. C prime, using this information, 1 + 3, comma, -7, -2. That's going to give me 4, comma, -9. And now I want to rotate it around 90 degrees clockwise. And this is A, this is B. So -9, comma, -4. And then D prime is 4 + 3, comma, -7, -2. So my new points are 7, comma, -9. And this is A, B. Sorry, that one's hard to see. So D prime is going to be -9, comma, -7. So these are the final points I want to plot for that B, for this question right here. So -5, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is A prime prime. -5, -8. So I was at 5, 6, 7, 8. B prime prime. -9, -4. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have, that's C prime. Miss Gallon is actually calling me on my phone. And -9, -7. So we're at 5. We're at 4, 5, 6, 7. D prime. Gonna answer this, guys. This is Mrs. Robinson. I'm still here graphing for the kids. Making a video. See if what? I lost Miss Gallon, but we'll get her back. All right, let's keep going. What would be the vertices if the original figure was dilated by a scale factor of half from its center? Okay? From its center, don't let that throw you off. That's just what we normally do anyway. Okay? So don't worry about that. This is scale factor from its center. That means everything's going to move out nice and even. So that just means I multiply. This is my K equals half. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to use the original information. So A prime would be 1 over 2 times 2, comma 1 over 2 times -3. B prime 1 over 2 times 5, comma 1 over 2 times -3. C prime 1 over 2 times 1, comma 1 over 2 times -7. And D prime is 1 over 2 times 4, comma 1 over 2 times -7. Okay? How do we multiply fractions? Straight across. Okay? You can pretend there's ones under here. I can throw some ones under here. That makes you feel more comfortable. All right, let's figure out what our final answers are. Because remember, it said the original figure. Original figure. All right? 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. 1 times -3 is -3. 2 times 1 is 2, so -3 over 2. So A prime. B prime. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times -3 is -3. 2 times 1 is 2. C prime. 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times -7 is a -7, and 2 times 1 is 2. D prime. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 over 2 is 2. 1 times -7 is -7. 2 times 1 is 2. Those are all my new points. Don't be afraid of the fractions, okay? They didn't ask you to graph it. They just wanted to know what it would be. If you can do this, you're good. Last one. What would be the vertices of the original if the original figure was dilated by 2 from its center, then reflected over the y-axis? Okay, I'm going back to my black pen. Okay, we're doing the same thing again, but this time instead of half, we're putting a 2 in. All right, let's go. A prime, 2 times 2, comma, 2 times -3. B, 2 times 5, comma, 2 times -3. C, 2 times 1, comma, 2 times -7. And D, 2 times 4, comma, 2 times -7. This is the first thing we got to do. Okay. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times a negative 7 is a negative 14. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times a negative 7 is a negative 14. But now they want us to reflect over the y-axis, which means I have to do x times a negative 1. So let's keep going. This is my reflection over y-axis. All right, ready? So I keep my y, but I multiply my x by a negative 1. Let's go. So the opposite of positive 4 is a negative 4, negative 6, a prime prime. B prime prime. Do the opposite of the x, so negative 10, comma negative 6. C prime prime. Opposite of the 2 is a negative 2 and a negative 14. D prime prime. Opposite of positive 8 is a negative 8, and I keep my y. This is my new image right here. All right? This is a lot of plugging in. I'm using the same process over. It's important that you don't rush. I know I rushed because I just want to make sure you got it in a short amount of video, but please rewind, pause, come in and ask questions if you need to. Hopefully this is helpful. This test is on the 22nd, so please study. You got your study guide tonight. If you were absent, you need to make sure you come in and see us. We're going to review it tomorrow and be ready for that test on Thursday, so good luck.